Hey everybody, welcome back to C# for gamers and streamers. Today we're going to be messing with OBS and Stream.bot. We probably won't do a whole lot of C# today because there's a lot of stuff that Streamer.bot can do in OBS that doesn't require C#. And yes, you can use the C#, but it's usually better just to use the built-in stuff unless you're doing something super fancy. So we'll definitely explore C# and OBS as we move along, but I kind of want to get you used to the idea of Streamer.bot messing with OBS. So we're going to do something a little bit simple today. This one may not be as long as other ones, but this will give you, this will give you the main idea of what we want to do using Streamer.bot and OBS. Now, I record this class using OBS, which means that I have OBS already open and running. Now, I could open a separate one and do that, but it seems to cause weird issues. So I'm going to use the one I'm recording on right now, but that means when I go into certain scenes, as you'll see here in a little bit, I'm going to have to go into what's called studio mode. Which may make it difficult to see. Just because I'm going into studio mode during this tutorial doesn't mean that you have to go into studio mode when you're doing your setup. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. There's things that you don't really need to worry about. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to get you set up. I'm going to get you to a place where you feel comfortable doing all this stuff. And then from there, we will move on to bigger and better things. So stick with me. There's a little bit of a technical setup thing going on at the beginning. I'll show you how you can do that and get Streamer.bot connected to your OBS. And then once that's set up, you are going to be golden. So let me pull up first OBS. Okay, so here we are in OBS. Let's take a look at how we get it set up with our Streamer.bot. So I've got Streamer.bot open here, and I just have it connected to Twitch. I don't have it connected to OBS. Okay, we want to add a connection to OBS in Streamer.bot. But the first thing we need to do is set up our WebSocket in OBS. So we'll go up here to Tools in OBS. We will come down here to WebSocket server settings. Okay, now there's a few things you want to note. There is an enable WebSocket server. This needs to be checked. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's got to be enabled. You want to enable WebSocket server. This is going to allow, this opens up a port inside of OBS for things to be able to come in and send and receive information with OBS. And we're going to utilize that for the Streamer.bot application. So, enable WebSocket server. Next, you're going to see a server port. It's probably going to be 4455. That is the default. Leave it there. Okay, take note of it. Leave it there. You don't need to worry about it. The only people that need to worry about server ports are people who are running multiple, either multiple crazy servers on their computer that are using ports and blah blah blah. If that's you, you know. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't have to worry about it. And then if the other reason would be if you've got multiple OBSs going at one time and you want to put them on different ports so they don't interrupt with each other, blah blah blah. That's probably not your use case. Okay, we're streaming to Twitch. There are ways to do multi-streaming. So if you want to stream to Twitch and YouTube and TikTok and blah, 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 Kick, whatever, you don't necessarily have to use multiple OBS installs. So don't worry about that. Just know that that number is going to be important. We want to know that number, but we don't need to worry about what number it is. We just need to take note of it, okay? Next, we have got a password, and it's going to be kind of cleared out there. It's going to have these little dots in the place of the actual password. You don't need to worry about that right now. I'm going to show you how you can get all that information. And once you have it, you're just going to paste it in. Now, I don't mind showing you my password and stuff because my OBS is not open to the public, okay? If you got my IP address, you would not be able to get into my OBS, even with the port number and the password, because I'm not opening this up to the greater world at large, okay? So it's not a security issue. Don't worry about that. We're going to get the information. We're going to run, okay? Now, what do? We've enabled WebSocket server. Now we need to go in and we need to get our contact. We're going to need to get our connect info from here. So we're going to click open connect info. It says, it appears that an output is currently active. Now you probably won't get this window. I'm getting it because I'm recording and doing virtual camera at the same time. And it's like, hey man, there's like passwords and stuff over here. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. This is not going to be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and show the password. Not a big deal. You probably won't get this screen, so don't worry about it. So yes, we want to connect, and there we go. So we've got the server IP. This will be your local IP. So if you know anything about internet protocol, this is going to be an like within your router. So your modem has an IP address for the whole internet. And then inside, past your modem, you have a router, and the router has IP addresses for all the devices in your home. This is going to tell me what it thinks my IP address is. That's fine. We're going to use a local host, so it is what it is. The next thing, server port. Remember, that was important. 4455, that's the default. That's probably what it's going to be. We're going to leave it there. That's great. Next, we need the server password. So that server password you're going to copy, and I'll show you where you put that. So just hold on for just a second. Let me pull up Streamer.bot. All right. Now, here we've got a lot of stuff, but what we've got here is Stream Apps. Okay? I know there's a million tabs, but you should have a Stream Apps tab in here. Now, this whole thing may be ancient technology soon because they're redoing the user interface for Streamer.bot. But if you're on the old Streamer.bot, the zero point whatever Streamer.bot, this is going to be where it is, right here, Stream Apps, and the first one is OBS. So that's what we want. So we're going to add an OBS. So right click somewhere here in the white and click add. Okay, this name doesn't matter. I'm just going to call it OBS. This version, you should be on this normal version 5 thing. Don't worry about that. Host 127.0.0.1. That just means, to your computer, that means don't even leave the computer, okay? Everything you need to find is right here on the device. So we're not going to mess with that host. You don't need to paste the IP address that shows up in the OBS settings. Just leave it at 127.0.0.1. That's your local host. That's your computer, okay? 4455, again, that needs to match, and it's going to match by default. Next, we need password. So let's go back to WebSocket, connect info. And we're going to copy server password right here. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and I'm going to paste it right there. So you can see it pasted that information. I'm going to hit auto connect on startup and reconnect on disconnect. And that will make sure that I'm always connected to OBS. All right, we're going to say okay. And there you go. That's it. We're connected to OBS. So if we look down here in the corner, OBS is not connected. Well, why is that? Because in Streamer.bot, you have to go in and click connect on the connection after you start it. Even though you got auto start, even though you got reconnect, blah, 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 blah. The first time when you first create it, you just go in here, right click, and say connect. And that's it. That's the only time you're ever going to have to do that. Okay? Unless you do something funny with OBS or Streamer.bot or whatever. But as long as it's set up, that's the only time you're going to have to do it. So now you'll see I've got it connected here. OBS, Twitch, done. Okay? We are connected to OBS. Great. We're done. Class is over. Thanks for joining. No, I'm just kidding. That's all the hard work. That's all the hard work. The rest of it's the fun part. So now that we have this OBS connection, we need to explore what in the world we're going to be able to do with this. Because, you know, we got it connected, but what does Streamer.bot do? Well, there's actually a lot of stuff that Streamer.bot will do. And I'm going to open this alert command and just show you some of the things that are available. So we can set a record chapter. So when you're recording, you can put chapters in your recording. It's very helpful if you have like special moments that you want to be able to find in the recording, go back. That's what that's for. Okay, so we could automatically create that. So if we were doing something crazy, like we have something really cool set up that only happens once in our Streamer.bot, and we want to make sure we can go back and get the clip, then we can use that, and that's a really good tool. We've got get current scene. That's really useful. It's right now I'm in my main scene on OBS. So it's gonna come in as main. And I have used that many times in the past to do crazy things with scene swapping. Like, okay, I'm on this scene and I want to trigger it to go to this other scene and do a thing, and then I want to come back to whatever scene I was on. So I'll get the current scene, right? And then I'll trigger the thing and do a bunch of stuff, and then when I'm done with all that stuff, I can return back to the original scene. So that's a cool way of keeping track of what scene we're on, and doing stuff like that. Get status. So this is going to tell you if you're connected, what Streamer.bot's doing. Is it recording? Is it sending information to Twitch? Is it doing virtual camera? How long have we been streaming? All that kind of stuff. Okay. Raw. We will get to raw on another day. Okay. Raw is a way of putting just the most insane amount of things in OBS. Anything that OBS can do, raw can make it do that. Okay. OBS has their own little pseudo programming language thing that you call OBS raw, and it's just a bunch of stuff that you can put in there and tell OBS what to do. So super useful, kind of complicated. There's tools online to help you with that, but we're not going to worry about that today. Recording. Okay. This just starts the recording. That's it. Set active scene. This will change your scene. So we're talking about earlier, you can get the current scene. Well, with set active scene, you can set the active scene, and that will move things around. Super useful. Okay. Streaming. Again, we can start streaming. If I click this, I could say start, stop streaming. Same with recording. And this is going to use my whatever is set up on my OBS. So if I'm set up to stream to Twitch, it's going to stream to Twitch. If I'm set up to stream to YouTube, it's going to stream to YouTube. Whatever's set up, that's what it's going to do. Take screenshot. Pretty self-explanatory. OBS has its own little screenshot thing. It takes a picture of what's actually going out at the moment. So it's not a screenshot of your whole computer. It's just a screenshot of what's coming out of OBS. Filters. Set the state of a random filter. This is a weird one. So I could come in here and I could choose a source like main, and I could choose my mic here, and I could choose visible, hidden, or toggle. And if I have filters on that thing, it's just gonna randomly choose one and change its state, which is like, why? I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why you'd want to do that. Like if you're trying to trigger a random effect, and you don't care which one, you just want it to be super random, you could do that, and you just have your effects set up on OBS. The issue is it doesn't like toggle it back. So you either have to manually toggle it, or you just set it to visible and it like randomly applies things and they just show up on the screen randomly. I'm sure it's useful. and somebody's going to show me how amazing and incredible it is, but I have yet to use it. Groups. Set random group source visibility. Same thing. Instead of filters, we've got groups. And groups, if you don't know, on OBS are like little folders inside your sources that contain sources, and you can like do things with the group itself. So you could set random group source visible. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's just great. I'm sure somebody's using that to do some really cool stuff. That's on you to figure that out. Replay. Set replay buffer state. So when you have there's a thing on OBS called the buffer, and it records stuff within a certain period of time. And when you hit replay, like when the replay buffer's on, you can save the replay buffer, and it'll actually save the last X number of seconds to your hard drive, and that will give you a clip. I use that to do a replay thing on my channel. So if somebody runs a clip on my channel, it will come up and show the replay live on the channel. And all that is it's waiting. It goes back and it stores however many seconds I have in the buffer, and then it will save that to the hard drive. And then I have Streamer.bot set to go in and load that into OBS, and then OBS will play whatever file is there as the replay, and that shows the instant replay. So there's some cool stuff there. But this particular thing doesn't do that. What this does is you can set how long you want that buffer to be. Actually, no, not even. So this is start, stop, and save. So actually it is what it is. It is that. So if I wanted to only have the buffer running at certain times, I could set Streamer.bot up to start or stop the buffer. And then using the save command is actually going to save that file in your folder. Okay. So, excuse me. That is what that's for. All right. So scenes. We got scenes. We've got get scene item properties. So let's take a look at this. I can get the properties of a source inside of my scene. And those properties are just whatever the properties are in OBS. And maybe that's useful to you. But it is what it is. Don't use that myself. That's okay. Hide scene sources. Okay, so here we go. We can hide all the sources inside of a scene. I also don't use this. But I could see where it would be useful. Like if you were gonna do, you wanted to quickly run a password through that's gonna show on screen or something, and you just wanted it to show, you wanted your whole stream to go black for just a few seconds. Or even if you did an effect, like somebody did a point redemption, and the point redemption was to like destroy the stream for a few seconds, and you're in your main scene, you could run this and it would just take everything off the screen. This is weird. There's so many better ways to control how things are visible that using this broad brush, it's here, but it ain't worth anything, in my opinion. There's so little control. But it exists, so I'm talking about it. Set random scene source visible. Again, this is just picking a scene inside of a source and making it visible. And that might be super useful to you. But there's other ways of doing randomness inside of Streamer.bot besides just telling OBS to do something random. Okay? Then we've got set scene filter state. Now this one is useful because scenes themselves have filters. And those filters it can be set up ahead of time in OBS with whatever you want them to do, and then you can turn them on and off. One of the big ones is the Move Transition plugin. If you don't have the Move Transition plugin, we're going to use that at some point in this series. So take a look at that. But that is going to be for another day. There's lots of other filters. There's stuff that changes the colors and stuff that makes you sound different and can make you show a border on your camera. Like right now I've got this nice little nucleus looking thing on my, it's kind of the electron cloud and the nucleus on my camera. This is a filter. Now this isn't a scene filter, but scene filters and source filters are fairly similar. So there's lots of stuff you can do with filters, and you want to be able to turn them on and off. So this is a great one. We will utilize that many times. Sources. Okay, we're almost at the end of this. So let's go down to sources. We got a lot of options. I may have to go up a little higher. And I promise I will go quickly through these. So flip source does exactly what it sounds like. It flips it. So if you like have a camera that's recorded backwards, like a selfie cam, and you just flip it, done. Or you want to do like some weird thing where it's like flipping back and forth across the screen, or whatever. There's lots of stuff you can do with that. Hide group sources. So this would be, we talked about groups. It's like little folders. You want to hide all the sources. Bam, done. You hide them all. They go away. You could just hide the group, so I don't know why you'd want to hide all the sources in a group. But it is what it is. Hide sources filters. So this would just dump the filters for a source. So if you just wanted to get rid of all the sources you have, all the filters you have up for that particular source, then you can do that. I don't ever use that. Or at least I haven't found a good use for it. Rotate source. This is useful. Sometimes you want to rotate a source. You want it to go this way or that way on the screen. You can do that right here. Now, there are ways of doing this using RAW that usually when you're rotating things, you're wanting to calculate how much you want to rotate it. And that's more useful in the C#. But there's times where you say, hey, I just want to rotate this 90 degrees when it's time for it to happen. Boom. This is your thing right here. This is it. Set browser source URL. Super useful. Super useful. Browser sources can do all kinds of things. They don't just open websites. Okay, you could have HTML on your computer. You can open PDF files. Okay, the browser source will open PDF files on your computer and display them. There's lots of cool, awesome stuff there. This is good for if you're pulling in the profile picture of somebody that gave on your channel or whatever, and you want to show their screen, or somebody that rated, and you want to show their profile picture on the screen. You can use set browser source URL and have it direct to the profile picture of the person. Set color source color. So if you've got a color source, like you've got a blue square or something, like your outline on your, you've set up an outline on your not an outline, an overlay. You've got like a cool overlay on your stream and you want to change the colors. Like, let's say somebody gives, you want to change it to orange to let everybody know someone gave. Bam, that's your spot. Set GDI text. Any text you put on the screen, unless you're using, and I don't know why you would, but there's an older version of text stuff in OBS that you can use. Use GDI plus. It's great. It's amazing. It does everything you want it to do. Okay, this will set the text for that. So this is useful when somebody gives or somebody subs or somebody raids, or you're rating somebody and you want to put their username up on the screen. You can use this set GDI text to put that information on the screen. Okay. set image source file. You could choose what image gets pulled up. Okay, so if you've got a bunch of images, like let's say you've got, I don't know, user submissions. People were putting stuff in on the Discord, and they had lots of pictures that they sent, like memes and stuff, and you want to be able to stick all those memes in a folder and have them come up in the same spot every time somebody does a redemption. Boom. Set image source file. It'll change where the image is, change where it goes to get the image, and you can put whatever image you want in that source. Same thing with media, videos, music, that sort of thing. Sound alerts. You can choose which sound alert or video gets played inside of that source. Set media state. So this one is going to allow you to play, pause, start, stop, go to the next or previous media, all within here. So this actually gives you the ability to use those play and stop buttons and all that. Now, I will say that OBS, when you hide something, there's a setting in OBS to allow a media file to play automatically when it becomes unhidden, which is what I do. So I don't use play and stop and restart and all that stuff. All I do is hide it and show it, and it'll start over. Okay, but there's plenty of uses for that. We've got set source audio track state. Here's another one. So you can set which track something is in. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this. OBS has different tracks. Depending on what you're doing, you might be recording and you want multiple tracks so that when you go back to edit, you can choose what audio to display and play and blah, 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 or edit. That's great. It's amazing for that. If you're streaming to Twitch and you want things to go to Twitch, but you don't want them to go to the actual recording, you don't want them to go in the gosh, what's it called on Twitch? Just, you know, the replay of your stream. If you don't want it to go into that and get stored on Twitch, you can set it to track 2, and it will only play on your stream. Actually, no, track 2, excuse me. Track 2 is what gets sent to that. So you actually want to avoid putting it on track 2. So I could set this to track 2 and say inactive, and then this will turn off whatever audio source that is in the replay. So that could be very useful depending on what you're doing. Let's take a look at another one. We've got set for source filter state. So that's going to make your source visible or hidden. Your filter, source filter visible or hidden. Again, there's lots of filters. Filters can do a million things, and this lets you control all of them. Set source mute state. So if you want, let's say you've got a be right back situation, and you want to trigger that using Streamer.bot, you can mute all your sources, and no one will be able to hear you or hear your computer or anything. So it's useful for that. It's also useful if you wanted to have a redemption that cuts your audio, and like it doesn't even tell you, you don't know, no one can hear you, and then it comes back on. That could be funny. There's several different reasons why you'd want to mute. And then set source visibility state. So the actual source, like your camera or your screen or whatever your source is, you could make that visible or invisible. Another thing you could do is other scenes. So if you put another scene in the scene you're in, you can make that scene visible or invisible, and that's pretty cool too. All right. So, lots of stuff there. We drilled through it. But I'm going to give you a practical example today. So I want to add something to my stream. And one of the things that I do when people come into my stream is I have point rewards available for them to request a song from me. Now, right now, there's just there's 3 options, and 2 of them are just specific songs. Okay? Now, one of those songs is a song that I wrote for another streamer called Volan Raduga. and I wrote it about a year ago, a little over a year ago. I wrote this song, and every time somebody redeems the Volan song, I have to go find the lyrics, find the background audio, pull up the lyrics on text notepad, and then play the music, and then I sit here and I sing it, and that's it. But that's kind of a waste of time. So what I want to do is put the lyrics up on the screen for me and for everybody at home watching. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to show you how I can do that using Streamer.bot and OBS. And we will take a look at that. So let me I'm going to close this Streamer.bot, and I'm going to show you the magic behind the Adam Strasher stream Streamer.bot. So I've got it here. What's not connected? Nothing. Okay. And I have a few actions. So let me find the one specifically for the Volan song. Here it is. Okay. So this is it. When someone redeems the reward Volan song, right now all it does is play this audio. Volan. Okay, that tells me and the audience that somebody's redeemed that. But I want to add something to this. I want to add text. So I did go ahead. First of all, I'm gonna have to switch into studio mode. Remember, you will not have to do this if you're not actively streaming or recording while you're doing your updates. But I have to do it, or else you won't be able to see me when I go into overlays, because that's where it is. So I've got an overlays scene, and it's blank. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to choose, I've got Volan lyrics already loaded here. And if we look inside, I've got the text from this. I've actually taken the text file, read from file. I've put this text file in as the source, and it's just pulling information directly out of the text file, okay? I've set it up with the font and everything to make it fit on the screen. I want to do a background, which I haven't done yet, so let me add a background. That might actually be okay there. Just make it kind of gray. And then all I have to do is turn it on, and it shows up on the screen. And you can actually see the lyrics for yourself on the screen right now. It's going to be right over here. But I'm going to go back to main, and I'm going to turn off studio mode so that I can see it too. So right now, it's super hard to see. You can't really see it. It's also on top of my camera. So I think what I want to do is move it over. So let me slide that over here. Overlays. Slide that to the side here. Okay. And then I'm just going to make that a little bit darker. Just like that. Not 100%, 99%. I like the balance because it allows for you to see that there's stuff going on behind, but also be able to read it. So the song is there. Now I could add the music as well. And actually, because I'm pulling it up, I think what I'll do is add the song as well, which I can do on Streamer.bot. So we will add a song here. But before we do that, I want to trigger this because I don't want this to show up. I don't want this to be there all the time, and I don't want to have to go into... You didn't realize some of these lyrics? I don't want to have to go into my my scenes and go into overlay and turn this off and turn it on. I don't want it to do that. I want it to happen automatically. So what I'm gonna do is, as soon as this sound finishes playing, and I've got it set up, the Volan sound, I'm gonna say finish playing before continuing. And then as soon as that's done, I wanna show this on the screen. So I'm gonna go down here to OBS, and I'm gonna go to sources, and I'm gonna go to set source visibility state. Now, I put this in my overlay scene. So I'm gonna find the overlay scene, and I'm gonna find the source. Now, you will probably not have this many sources, but maybe you do. But we're gonna go ahead and choose Volan lyrics and visible. Okay. And now that sets it as visible. The next thing I want to do is I want to add a delay, because this is going to pop up on the screen. I want to give myself about 2 seconds for this to start. So I'm going to say 2000 milliseconds. And then next I'm going to play the music. So let me go in here to core, because I can play these sounds directly from Streamer.bot, and I don't have to use OBS. So I'm going to go in here to sounds and say play sound, and then I'm going to be able to choose the sound. Now, if I need to choose an audio device, then I can. I'm going to use the default because I've got it set up already the way I want it. But you may need to choose a device that you want to use to play it. Next, I'm going to find the sound to play, just like this. And I'm going to go in. Now, this is kind of in a weird spot, but I've got it here. Volan. And it's under conformed files. I believe it's this one, but we will play it first and make sure. Yes. Okay, so that's my background music. Go ahead and open that. And it is set to Gaston. So test that. Okay. Now, I need to stop that. Because I don't want to play right now. I thought. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna close this. Oh no, yeah, okay. There's a way to stop it. I have it set up, but it was just easier to close Streamer.bot to make the sound stop. If you're gonna be putting sounds on your Streamer.bot, you want to have some kind of command you can use to make them stop. And mine is stop rads, because usually I'm testing the rads right here. But this stops all, you set stop all sound playback. And that's what this does, plus a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, you want some way of doing stop all sound playback so you don't have to listen to whatever audio you've put on there every time you test it. All right, so there's that. We are going to go back to, back to Volan here. And this is going to play the song. Now, when the song is over, and we can say finish before continuing. When the song is over, we're going to come in here and we're going to turn those lyrics back off. So we'll go down here to sources, set source visibility state. And I can choose it here, but actually I'm just going to duplicate what I've already got, because now all I have to do is set it from visible to hidden. Okay. There you go. Now it's hidden. And that's basically it. So we can test that out. Now first, I'm going to hide that so we can see what it's supposed to look like. Overlays, Volan lyrics, turn that off. All right. And we will go in here and redeem that. Volan song. There it is. Oh, I can only redeem it during stream. That's okay. We can test it. So we'll go in here, and instead we'll go up to our trigger, which is set up for the reward redemption. We're going to right-click that, and we're going to say test trigger. Here we go.
Volan. All shit disturbs me to see you, Volan, with cell phones and low on yourselves. Every guy here not to be you, Volan, even when taking your elves. There's no man online as admired as you. You're everyone's favorite spur. Everyone's all inspired by you, though you struggle to talk to a girl. No smart as Volan, no one darts like Volan, no one has quite as big of a heart as Volan, but there's no man online half as friendly. It's why the ugly upon. You can ask any Lauren or Zachary, and they'll tell you straight they prefer to leave off. No one's been like Volan, a free wind like Volan, totalitarian agent Volan, and a jet player, yes, he's intimidated by what a guy that Volan. Give 5 odd balls, give 12 charges, Volan is the best and the last days of us. No one laughs like Volan, no one gasps like Volan, no one loses to falling or laughs like Volan, so there's no one as funny and witty. As you see, he's got chuckles to spare, not a bit of him's naughty or nitty. He does every bit of this stuff from a chair. No one can like Volan, and a fan like Volan. No one dances behind Spider-Man like Volan. He's especially good at warming. And they saw Volan. When he was a lad, he drank sparkling ice, and we twitched him to help him get there. And now that he's grown, he drinks more sparkling ice, so he's roughly the size of a bumble. One shoots like Volan, lands those jukes like Volan. No one would order more than looks like Volan. He uses an allay in his decorating. My wanna die.
There you go. And it's gone. Just like that. We set it up. It's working perfectly. It's going to be great for the stream. And all that was done inside of Streamer.bot without even a single line of code, which is pretty cool. So they cut off at the bottom. Oh no. Wait, go back. Pratchety says they cut off at the bottom. Let's go look. This is good actually, because it'll show us how we can well, I don't know, do they? They don't look cut off to me. Where are they cut off? Oh, on Discord, yeah. It's probably zoomed in. Yeah, it's probably zoomed in on Discord. It'll look different in the recording. So I'm doing this class. If you didn't know, this class is actually live in Discord. And there's a link in the description on how you can go join the Discord and be part of our live class. So yes, this class is performed before a live studio audience. And you can come be a part of that live studio audience and ask your questions and have some talks with me. I'm not an expert, but I've done a lot of this stuff, so I have a lot of answers to questions, and I like looking stuff up. So if I don't know the answer to the question, I will help you figure it out, okay? So there's lots of fun to be had on the Discord. We also just hang out and have a good time. So come on, don't be shy. Join the Discord, have some fun. You may get a little bit of zoomed in weird stuff on the Discord video apparently, but Hey, you can always watch the recording, right? Pratchetti says, join She's Lonely here. So there you go. There you have it. If you want to be lonely with Pratchetti, you just come on in and be lonely with Pratchetti. She'll be glad to have you. So that is it. The phone thinks you need to zoom into my face. Yes, there's probably a setting that changes that. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it exists. That is it for our class. We are going to wrap that up there. It's a short one today, but that's good because we've had some that lasted for like 6 hours. So not recording time, but just like random stuff happening, and we had to delay things and all that. So we're done. Have a good week. Next week, we'll look more deeply into what we could do in OBS, and I got some ideas for things that you can do and cool stuff that you're going to be able to come up with, but you got to do the hard work first, which is getting the web socket set up and poking through all the OBS options on Streamer.bot. Don't worry about RAW. Don't worry about C#. We'll cover those in class, but familiarize yourself with the things that Streamer.bot can do in OBS just by default, and think of things that you want to do for your stream or for your recordings. You know, this doesn't have to be a streaming thing. This can be if you were going to do recordings of your gameplay and you wanted to have stuff happen in your recording automatically. That can all be handled in Streamer.bot. You don't need to be on Twitch or YouTube or Kick or whatever. You can actually just do this in your recording. So bear that in mind. Have fun with it. You're excited for me uploading last week's class. Last week's class is broken. And I looked at the recording from last week, and it does not have any audio. There was no audio last week. So unfortunately, it's busted. Okay, sorry, but we did do some cool stuff this week. Last week all we really did was work on Pratchetti's stuff for her stream. So I'll probably have to help her out separately, and see if we can get that working. But if you didn't miss too much last week, we'll get into all the stuff we did last week is part of our fundamentals. We'll get to, so don't worry about that. I will put this week's recording up straight away. As soon as I'm done with this recording, I'll go in and do it, and we will have that up for you. So I will send it to you anyway. Absolutely. All right. Talk to you guys later, and come join the Atom Smasher stream Tuesdays at 4:30. It's going to be great. You can see all this stuff I've been working on. You can come mess with my stream. It's going to be awesome. See you there. Check you later. Bye.